Most people will never be unstoppable because they don't know these 10 secrets. And the worst part? They're right in front of you. Miss one and you'll always struggle. Master them and nothing can hold you back. Think of the most unstoppable person you know. What do they have that you don't? Luck? Talent? No. They think differently. They act differently. And today you're learning the exact 10 rules they live by. Let's go. 1. Your thoughts control your reality. There is a power within you that shapes every circumstance, every outcome, every moment of your life. This power does not come from outside forces, from luck or from the approval of others. It comes from one place and one place only, your own mind. What you think, what you truly believe in the deepest corners of your being, becomes your reality. If you believe you will fail, then you have already failed. If you believe you will find a way, then the way will reveal itself to you. This is not magic. This is not wishful thinking. This is the unshakable law of cause and effect as it applies to the human mind. Unstoppable men and women do not wait for motivation to strike them like lightning from the sky. They do not hope for the right mood, the perfect conditions, or some sudden burst of inspiration. They take command of their thoughts with the same discipline a general takes command of his army. They direct their focus with precision, cutting away all that does not serve their purpose, all that does not move them forward. When doubt creeps in, they do not entertain it. When fear whispers, they do not listen. They know that the mind is a battlefield, and the thoughts they allow to take root will determine whether they rise or fall. Consider this truth. Every great achievement, every triumph against impossible odds, began first as a thought, a single, unwavering belief that what others called impossible was merely something that had not yet been done. The moment you accept this, the moment you truly understand that your thoughts are the architects of your destiny, everything changes. You stop seeing obstacles and start seeing opportunities. You stop waiting for permission and start taking action. You stop being a victim of circumstance and become the creator of your own fate. This is not about positive thinking. This is about something far more powerful, thinking with purpose. The weak man lets his mind wander wherever it pleases, dwelling on fears, doubts, and excuses. The unstoppable man chooses his thoughts as carefully as a craftsman chooses his tool. He knows that what he feeds his mind will shape his world. Feed it weakness, and weakness will follow. Feed it strength, and strength will answer. So I ask you, what thoughts are you allowing to rule your mind? Are they thoughts of limitation or thoughts of possibility? Are they thoughts of fear or thoughts of courage? Because whatever they are building your future at this very moment. The choice is yours. The power has always been yours. 2. Obsession beats motivation. Every time. There is a fire that burns in the hearts of those who achieve greatness. It is not a small flame, easily extinguished by the winds of doubt or the rains of hardship. It is an all-consuming blaze, a force so powerful that it cannot be ignored, cannot be reasoned with, cannot be stopped. This fire has a name: obsession. Not the unhealthy kind that destroys, but the kind that builds, that drives, that refuses to accept anything less than what it has set out to achieve. Motivation is fleeting. It comes and goes like the tide, rising high one moment and vanishing the next. You cannot rely on it. You cannot build your life upon it. But obsession does not fade. It does not take days off. It does not wait for the right mood or the perfect moment. It is relentless, unyielding, and it will carry you through the darkest nights and the fiercest storm. Look at any man or woman who has ever accomplished anything of true worth, and you will find this obsession at work. They did not achieve what they did because they were motivated. They achieved it because they had no other choice, because the thought of not pursuing their purpose was more painful than any failure, any setback, any ridicule they might face along the way. When others laughed, they kept going. When others quit, they pushed harder. When the world told them it couldn't be done, they simply refused to listen. This is the difference between those who dream and those who do. The dreamer waits for inspiration. The doer is obsessed with action. The dreamer hopes for success. The doer is consumed by the need to make it real. Which one are you? If your desire for something is not strong enough to keep you going when everything in you wants to quit, then it is not strong enough to matter. If you can walk away from your goal at the first sign of difficulty, then it was never truly your goal to begin with. Obsession is the price of greatness. It is the unshakable focus that turns ordinary man into legends. So ask yourself, what are you truly obsessed with? What is the one thing that if you were denied it, would make your life feel empty. Because until you find that, until you cultivate that fire within you, you will always be at the mercy of fleeting motivation. But once you have it, once you embrace it, nothing in this world will be able to stop you. Decide fast, commit forever. The greatest thief of success is not failure, not opposition, not even lack of talent. It is hesitation, that silent killer that creeps into the mind of a man when he stands at the crossroads of decision. The world is filled with those who wait, those who ponder, those who stand still while life passes them by. But the unstoppable, they understand one fundamental truth: a wrong decision made with full conviction will take you further than no decision at all. There is power in swift decision. When a man looks at a challenge and immediately chooses his course, something remarkable happens. The universe begins to align with his will. Opportunities appear that were hidden before. Resources materialize as if by magic. But this is no magic, it is the natural law of motion. When you move decisively toward your goal, the world moves with you. Consider the oak tree. It does not debate whether to grow tall. It does not question which direction its branches should take. It simply grows, following the natural laws of its existence with unwavering certainty. Man was meant to operate with this same unshakable decisiveness. The moment you know what must be done, the time for deliberation is over. The time for action has come. Indecision is the luxury of those who have no serious purpose. The man who knows his mission cannot afford to waver. Every moment spent in hesitation is a moment stolen from his destiny. History remembers those who acted, not those who hesitated. The world rewards those who commit, not those who second guess. When you make a decision, truly make it, something changes within you. Your mind stops searching for alternatives and begins finding ways to make your choice successful. Your energy, previously scattered in uncertainty, now focuses like sunlight through a magnifying glass. This is why the unstoppable seem to have supernatural luck. They create it through the sheer force of their commitment. There will always be reasons to wait. There will always be voices suggesting caution. But the extraordinary life is not found in caution. It is found in courageous commitment to a chosen path. The ship in harbor is safe, but that is not what ships are built for. Make your decisions as if changing your mind were impossible. Commit to your path as if turning back would mean death. This is the way of those who achieve greatness. They do not dabble. They do not experiment. They choose, they act, and they never look back. 4. Fear is a compass. Run toward it. Fear has been misunderstood by the masses. They see it as weakness, as something to be avoided at all costs. But the unstoppable know better. They recognize fear for what it truly is, the surest signpost pointing toward growth. That which makes your hands shake and your heart race is precisely what you must pursue. Every man feels fear. The difference between the ordinary and the extraordinary lies in their response to it. The ordinary man allows fear to dictate his actions, to limit his possibilities, to shrink his world. The extraordinary man recognizes fear as his most honest advisor, showing him exactly where he needs to go next. There is a peculiar alchemy that occurs when a man runs toward his fear rather than away from it. The fear does not disappear, but it transforms. What once seemed impossible becomes possible. What once seemed terrifying becomes exhilarating. This is how men expand their boundaries, how they discover strengths they never knew they possessed. The cave you fear to enter holds the treasure you seek. This is an ancient truth that has guided the greatest explorers, inventors, and leaders throughout history. They did not wait for fear to leave them before acting. They acted despite the fear, and in doing so rendered it powerless. Your comfort zone is nothing more than a self-constructed prison. The bars are made of familiar routines. The locks are forged from habitual avoidance. Fear is the key to your release, if only you would use it properly. That which you fear to attempt contains within it the lesson you most need to learn. Consider this: the fear you feel today, if faced head-on, will become the confidence you feel tomorrow. The challenge you avoid now will become the regret you carry later. Time does not eliminate fear, only action does. The unstoppable do not seek to eliminate fear from their lives. They seek instead to make fear their ally, their guide, their compass. When they feel its presence, they do not retreat, they advance. They understand that on the other side of fear lies everything they've ever wanted. So I ask you, what are you afraid to do? What dream have you put aside because the thought of pursuing it makes your stomach tighten? That very thing, that exact fear, is pointing you toward your destiny. Will you follow where it leads? Master the art of ignoring distractions. The path to greatness is littered with the shattered dreams of those who could not resist distraction. Every moment of your life, forces conspire to pull you away from your purpose. Trivial matters dressed as important, meaningless chatter posing as conversation, empty pursuits masquerading as necessary. The unstoppable man recognizes these traps for what they are: thieves of time, stealers of destiny. He develops the rare ability to focus with such intensity that all else fades into irrelevance. There exists in nature a powerful lesson. Observe the eagle in flight. When it sets its sight upon its prey, no movement in the trees below, no sound in the air around can divert its course. It moves with singular purpose, undistracted and undeterred. This is not merely instinct. It is the secret to survival, to dominance. The man who would achieve must cultivate this same relentless focus. The world will present you with endless opportunities to look away, to turn aside, to engage in matters of no consequence. Your ability to keep your gaze fixed upon your objective will determine your success or failure. Consider the power of a single-minded man. While others scatter their energies across a dozen pursuits, he concentrates his on one. While others divide their attention among countless trivialities, he dedicates his wholly to his purpose. The result: where others make inches of progress, he makes miles. Where others see obstacles, he sees only the path ahead. This is not luck. This is the inevitable result of undiluted focus. The modern world has become a carnival of distraction, each more enticing than the last. But the principles of achievement remain unchanged. Since ancient times, the focused mind prevails. The distracted mind fails. It is that simple. Every minute spent on what does not matter is a minute stolen from what does. Every ounce of energy given to trivial pursuits is energy denied to your true calling. You must become ruthless in your elimination of distractions, not merely the obvious ones, but the subtle thieves of time that slip unnoticed into your day. The unnecessary conversations, the idle curiosities, the harmless diversions, these are the quiet assassins of greatness. They do not announce their destructive power, but their effects accumulate with devastating consequence. The unstoppable man guards his attention as a king guards his treasury. He understands that his focus is the most valuable currency he possesses, and he spends it only on what moves him toward his goals. All else is irrelevant. All else is distraction. All else must be ignored. Turn every failure into fuel. Failure is not the opposite of success. It is its essential ingredient. The world would have you believe that failure is something to be avoided at all costs, a mark of shame, a sign of weakness. Nothing could be further from the truth. Failure is the greatest teacher, the most honest mentor, the forge in which true strength is tempered. The unstoppable man does not fear failure. He embraces it, studies it, and uses it as fuel for his next attempt. Consider the process by which steel is made. The raw ore must endure tremendous heat, must be hammered and shaped, must suffer what would destroy lesser materials. Yet through this process it becomes stronger than it ever was before. So too with the man who would achieve greatness. Each failure, each setback, each disappointment is not evidence of weakness, but an opportunity to become stronger. The ordinary man sees failure as the end. The extraordinary man sees it as necessary preparation. There exists in nature a profound lesson about persistence. The river does not stop when it encounters a rock. It finds a way around or wears the obstacle down over time. The seedling does not abandon its attempt to grow when it meets resistance from the soil. It pushes harder until it breaks through to the light. These are not mere accidents of nature, but demonstrations of an immutable law. That which persists prevails. The unstoppable man approaches failure with a scientist's mind. He does not weep over spilled milk, but examines how the glass was tipped. He does not lament his losses, but studies them for lessons. What went wrong? Why did it happen? How can it be prevented next time? In this way, each failure becomes not a tombstone but a stepping stone. History's greatest achievements were not born from unbroken success, but from repeated failure. The inventor whose creations changed the world first endured countless prototypes that did not work. The explorer who discovered new lands first sailed up many dead-end channels. The difference between them and the masses was not in their failures, but in their response to them. You must develop this same relationship with failure. When you fall, do not lie weeping on the ground. Rise, analyze what caused your stumble, and march forward with greater wisdom. Make failure your ally rather than your enemy. Let it sharpen you rather than discourage you. The man who learns this secret becomes truly unstoppable, for he has removed the only thing that could ever truly defeat him, the fear of defeat itself. Every great oak was once a nut that stood its ground. Every masterpiece was once a blank canvas. Every victory was once an uncertain attempt. The difference between those who achieve and those who only dream lies not in their failures, but in their willingness to fail again and again until success is won. This is the way of the unstoppable. This must become your way. Surround yourself with the right people. A man's character is not formed in isolation. It is shaped, molded, and ultimately determined by the company he keeps. There exists an invisible law as certain as gravity. Every man rises or falls to the level of those with whom he associates most closely. The unstoppable man understands this truth with crystal clarity. He guards his inner circle as a master gardener tends his most precious plants, removing weeds, nurturing growth, and ensuring only the strongest influences take root. Consider the mighty redwood trees that tower hundreds of feet into the sky. Their secret lies not in any individual strength, but in their interconnected root systems that support and sustain one another beneath the surface. So too with human achievement. No man becomes great alone. His thoughts, his habits, his very standards are lifted or lowered by those who surround him daily. The ambitious man who keeps company with the lazy will find his ambition waning. The disciplined man who associates with the reckless will see his discipline erode. This is not speculation, it is the iron law of human nature. The world is filled with those who would drag you down to their level, not out of malice but simply because misery loves company. The mediocre resent excellence because it exposes their own shortcomings. The lazy despise productivity because it highlights their idleness. The fearful attack boldness because it reveals their cowardice. These are not people you can afford to have close to you if you intend to achieve anything of significance. The unstoppable man chooses his associates with the same care a general chooses his officers. He seeks out those whose character is stronger than his own, whose vision is clearer, whose standards are higher. He understands that 5 years from now he will be the same person he is today except for the books he reads and the people he meets. Therefore, he ensures every relationship pulls him upward, rather than drags him down. There comes a moment in every man's life when he must make the difficult choice to leave certain people behind. This is not cruelty, it is survival. The fisherman cannot run with the school of minnows if he intends to swim with the shark. The eagle cannot roost with chickens if he means to soar with the clouds. You must have the courage to walk away from relationships that no longer serve your growth, no matter how comfortable or long-standing they may be. Seek out those rare individuals who speak truth without flattery, who challenge your excuses, who refuse to let you settle for less than your best. These are the people who will sharpen you as iron sharpens iron. These are the relationships worth cultivating at all costs. When you find them, hold them close, for they are more valuable than gold. 8. Never depend on external validation. The need for approval is the death of greatness. History's most remarkable achievements were accomplished by men who cared nothing for the opinions of the crowd, who remained steadfast in their vision even when the world mocked them. The unstoppable man understands a fundamental truth. Applause is fleeting, but self-respect is eternal. He measures his success by his own standards. not by the fickle judgments of others. Consider the oak tree. It does not grow tall to impress the forest. It does not spread its branches to win approval from the birds. It grows because growth is its nature, its purpose, its reason for being. So too with the man of true substance. He pursues excellence not for praise, but because anything less would violate his personal code. The moment you tie your self-worth to external validation, you become a slave to other people's opinions. Your confidence rises and falls with their approval, leaving you perpetually unstable, perpetually insecure. The crowd is a cruel master. Today it cheers, tomorrow it jeers. Today it lifts you up, tomorrow it tears you down. To build your life upon such shifting sand is madness. Yet most men do exactly this, constantly adjusting their behavior, their speech, even their beliefs to win temporary favor from those whose opinions shouldn't matter. The unstoppable man breaks this chain. He answers to his own conscience, his own standards, his own vision. There is tremendous power in indifference to outside opinion. When you no longer care what others think, you become free to think for yourself. When you no longer fear criticism, you become capable of original thought. When you no longer crave praise, you develop the ability to see yourself clearly, strengths and weaknesses alike. This is the foundation of true confidence, the unshakable kind that comes from within rather than without. The world's most impactful innovations were initially ridiculed. The most profound truths were first rejected. The most visionary leaders were originally dismissed. Had these men and women depended on external validation, human progress would have stalled centuries ago. Your life's work will face similar resistance, similar misunderstanding. The question is not whether people will approve, but whether you have the courage to continue without their approval. Develop the habit of consulting your own inner compass, rather than constantly looking to others for direction. Learn to enjoy your own company, to trust your own judgment, to validate yourself. This is not arrogance. It is the hallmark of emotional maturity. The boy needs constant reassurance. The man reassures himself. The amateur seeks applause. The professional seeks improvement. When you free yourself from the need for external validation, you unlock a superpower few possess, the ability to stay the course when everyone else has abandoned ship. While others chase trends and popularity, you build something lasting. While others crumble under criticism, you grow stronger. This is the way of the unstoppable. This must become your way. 9. Consistency is the ultimate weapon. The world makes a great mistake in its worship of talent. It fawns over natural ability as if it were the master key to all achievement, while ignoring the quiet power that actually builds empires, the relentless daily discipline of showing up. Talent is common. Genius is frequent. What is rare is the man or woman who can string together day after day of focused effort regardless of mood, regardless of circumstance, regardless of how they feel in the moment. This is the secret weapon of the unstoppable. Consider the mightiest river you have ever seen. Its power seems beyond comprehension, capable of carving canyons through solid rock, of moving mountains of earth with its current. Yet this awesome force is nothing more than countless drops of water, each insignificant by itself, all moving persistently in the same direction day after day, year after year, century after century. So it is with human achievement. Small efforts repeated with unwavering consistency accumulate into results that appear miraculous to those who don't understand the process. The unstoppable man does not rely on inspiration. He does not wait for perfect conditions. He establishes his daily disciplines and then guards them with his life. While others work in fits and starts, moving forward only when motivation strikes, he advances like the tide, steadily, inevitably, unstoppably. His calendar is his commander. His routine is his religion. He knows that showing up when he doesn't feel like it does more for his character than 100 days of working in perfect enthusiasm. There is a myth that great accomplishments require grand gestures. The truth is exactly opposite. Mastery lives in the mundane. Greatness hides in the ordinary. The extra hour of study when others are sleeping. The additional set of repetitions when the body begs to quit. The moment of choosing the difficult right over the easy wrong. These are the bricks with which destinies are built. The unstoppable man understands that what he does every day matters far more than what he does once in a while. The power of consistency transforms the average into the exceptional through the alchemy of time. The mediocre musician who practices daily will surpass the gifted one who plays only when inspired. The ordinary writer who fills pages every morning will outshine the brilliant one who waits for perfect words. Nature's greatest law is the law of accumulation. Small things become great things when given enough time and enough repetition. You must become ruthless in protecting your daily disciplines. There will always be reasons to skip just this one. There will always be temptations to break your routine. The weak man listens to these siren calls. The unstoppable man stays the course. He knows that excellence is not an act but a habit, and that the chains of habit are too light to be felt until they are too heavy to be broken. Make your choice today. Will you be the person who works only when convenient, or the one who works because you said you would? Will you be the fair-weather striver who quits at the first obstacle, or the relentless force of nature who cannot be deterred? The difference between these paths is the difference between dreaming and doing, between wishing and winning. Consistency is the bridge between goals and accomplishment. Walk it daily. 10. Your peace is non-negotiable. Chaos is the natural state of the turmoil. Uncertainty and upheaval are not exceptions to the rule. They are the rule. The unstoppable man understands this fundamental truth and therefore does not waste energy hoping for calm seas. Instead, he builds an inner fortress so strong that no external storm can shake his foundation. His peace is not dependent on circumstances because he has made it non-negotiable. Consider the eye of a hurricane. While winds of destruction whirl at unimaginable speeds all around it, the center remains perfectly calm. This is not by accident but by nature's design. So too with the man of unconquerable spirit. He develops the ability to retreat into that quiet place within himself where no outside force can reach. In this sacred space, he finds clarity amidst confusion, purpose amidst panic, and power amidst powerlessness. Most men make the fatal error of seeking peace in their environment rather than within themselves. They believe if only they could change their circumstances, then they would be happy. This is the great illusion that keeps people perpetually dissatisfied. The unstoppable man knows better. He understands that external conditions will always fluctuate, but his inner world remains under his sovereign control. He does not wait for the storm to pass. He learns to dance in the rain. The cultivation of this unshakable peace is not passive work. It requires the daily discipline of guarding one's thoughts, of directing one's focus, of choosing one's responses. When others react, he responds. When others panic, he pauses. When others scatter their energies fighting against what cannot be changed, he conserves his power for what can. This is not indifference. It is supreme intelligence. There exists in every man a still point, a place untouched by the chaos of the world. Most never discover it because they're too busy chasing external solutions to internal problems. The unstoppable man makes it his mission to find this place and return to it often. Through meditation, through contemplation, through simple moments of conscious breathing, he strengthens his connection to this inner sanctuary until it becomes his natural state of being. The world will test your peace constantly. People will try to upset you. Circumstances will attempt to rattle you. Unexpected events will conspire to throw you off balance. These are not obstacles but opportunities to practice your craft, the craft of emotional mastery. The unstoppable man welcomes these tests, for they show him where his weak points remain. Each challenge overcome makes him stronger. Each provocation resisted makes him more resilient. Make your peace non-negotiable. Let it be the foundation upon which you build your life. From this solid ground you can face any storm, weather any crisis, overcome any obstacle. While others are blown about by every wind of circumstance, you will stand firm. This is the mark of true strength. This is the way of the unstoppable. The chaotic world needs more such men and women, not those who add to the noise, but those who embody the calm, not those who react to every provocation, but those who respond from centered wisdom. Will you be one of them? The choice is yours, and the time to choose is now. No magic, no luck, just laws of mindset and action. Most people will hear this and do nothing, but if you take just one of these and apply it today, you're already ahead of 99% of people. The question is, which one will you start with?